Chill factor. What is going on? What's your take?
Trump is going to just win like crazy in 2024.
I'm sure you think that.
Yeah, unless they cheat.
Hey, but you know that you guys have lost 7 elections in a row, right?
Well, that's a deep rabbit hole. You probably don't want to go into, but yeah.
Sure. Can you tell me what provisional ballot is?
Provisional ballot?
Yeah.
No, what is a provisional ballot?
Okay. So see, I'm going to say when you think the election's stolen, you probably don't know enough about this to make that assertion.
I know enough about mail-in ballots and
I'm sure you think you do.
Lack of identification.
There actually isn't a lack of identification. The rate at which fraud occurs by mail-in happens at about 1 in 400,000, 1 in 500,000.
What?
About
then why
1
do
in
all these?
8, about 1 in 800,000.
Why do all these mail-in ballots show up for Biden?
What do you mean?
There was a lot of mail-in ballots that showed up in all the key states, all the battleground states.
Yeah, because that's predominantly how Democrats. That's predominantly how Democrats. No, they didn't. They didn't show up at 3 a.m. That's predominantly how Democrats.
Anyway, the indictments for Trump, they'll win on appeal because those are all corrupt judges and district attorneys.
Okay, in the let's just pick one on the Georgia case. What are the grounds for appeal?
What is the punishment for protesting the election? I mean,
he didn't
Hillary
protest.
did
That's not what he's being charged for.
Everybody did it. Yeah,
Donald Trump is not being charged for protesting the election. Donald Trump is being charged for doing very flagrantly illegal things.
Like asking to find the fake ballots?
No, like forging documents.
He didn't forge documents.
Yeah. They did. Lying to elected officials, solicitation of violation of oath of office, hiring fake slates of electors to try and replace legitimate ones, forging documents with the official Georgia seal, and attempting to push it off as the legitimate electors from Georgia. Yeah, these are the things that he did. He didn't just go around saying the election was stolen, which, by the way, is incredibly irresponsible, number one. Number two, not what he did.
Well, if you look at all the anomalies, there were many.
There weren't any. In fact, what's funny is 2 of the biggest anomalies happened in favor of Trump in Rio Grande Valley and Miami-Dade. There weren't any irregularities, man. That's why Donald Trump lost 59 times in court.
So what are the indictments for in Georgia exactly?
The indictment in Georgia is creating a criminal enterprise for the purposes of attempting to overthrow the election of Georgia.
Okay, yeah, right.
Have you read the indictment? Have you read the indictment?
He was looking for fake ballots.
Have you read the indictment about what they hacked into election systems, which is funny because that's what you guys say that the Democrats did. But no, they're charges for hacking election systems in Coffee County.
He was trying to see if they were legit.
Doesn't matter. That's not for him. That's for the courts. They have no right to do that, period. And that's what you guys are alleging Donald or Joe Biden did.
He's going to win.
Sidney Powell already pled guilty to this. Sidney Powell and numerous other people have already pled guilty to breaking into election systems in Coffee County. But why hasn't he provided us any evidence?
What about Governor Kemp's daughter's boyfriend? His car blows up. Right after Kemp announced.
What the would that have to do with Biden? What is this? What are you even talking about?
Right after Kemp said he was going to have an audit of the election, all of a sudden his daughter's boyfriend's car explodes and the block was found 50 yards away.
Hang on, Tommy. He's actually, I actually heard this from Kemp's Uber driver's sister's cousin's neighbor's mailman. You know, that's actually verifiable.
Whatever. A lot of coincidences happen.
Really quick.
Election. It is what it is. He's going to win the Georgia case. He's going to win the New York case.
Hold on. Stop talking for a second. Yeah, it was Kemp's daughters, but it was Loeffler's staffer. What is that? Doesn't that prove my point?
That was her boyfriend.
Because Loeffler was a Trump supporter and a vehement one. So couldn't I say that it was her doing away with the guy because he was going to spill the beans about the corruption?
No, it was a message to Kemp to not do the audit.
I'm sure. They did an audit. There were 3 different audits done, by the way. There was done by the Georgia Secretary of State, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, the FBI. I think that the national vote, I think that there was, those are the 3 I know of, but I think that there was another one done by the Federal Election Commission. And there's been audits done, even by pro-Trump groups, like the Cyber Ninjas out of Arizona. They found nothing. They've done audits, they did recounts, they did hand recounts. You can't say, like, they did hand recounts. I don't know what what more evidence you need. What evidence do you have besides just paranoia? That's your whole argument here, is I'm paranoid that something happened even though I don't know what,
none of us are privy to the truth, but it's out there.
Yeah, we are.
No, you're privy to
present it.
What is the evidence?
Well, they don't let it out.
So then there is no evidence.
Then how do you know it exists?
81 million votes my.
So what is the evidence? So what is
fake.
the evidence? You can't say that there's evidence, but they won't let us see it. All that means is there's no evidence.
It's pretty much.
I don't know what you guys don't get about that. What?
It's a whole country.
I can just say, 74 million voted for Trump, but he lost the popular vote first time. No way he got 74 million. They got to be fake.
Wait till the 24 election.
I'm so sure you think that. What is the evidence of the 2020 election? And why is it just that election? And why did the Democrats not give themselves a bigger lead in the House?
Why
did they not give themselves a lead in the House? And why did they not give themselves a bigger lead in the Senate?
Dinesh D'Souza had.
I watched it, man.
Tons of.
I watched
evidence.
it. Dinesh D'Souza is a political
2,000
hack.
jackasses.
He's got guys.
I watched it.
He videotaped multiple.
I know, because that's legal.
Multiple ballots.
Yeah, I know that's legal. Yep, that's legal.
In the ballot boxes.
Yep, that's legal. That is legal. He showed you something that's perfectly legal and said it was illegal, and you believed him.
It's illegal to have multiple ballots going into ballot boxes by one person?
No, it's not. Some states allow you to, but it's ballot harvesting is legal in like 26 states, like half the states. Okay, you can go around as a campaign employee and pick up ballots. In some states, they allow you to walk the voter through the ballot, not tell them who to vote for, but you can sit there with them as they do it. That's in half the states. In every state in the country, you can pick up ballots as an organization that helps people that are homeless, people that are disabled veterans, people that are handicapped in some way. There's a ton of organizations that'll do that. And in many states, literally your friends, neighbors, whatever can take your ballots.
Well, the election was stolen.
You guys even
short-circuited. He just short-circuited. So again, I watched 2,000 Mules. Nothing in there indicates, and it's amazing to me. Like they're dropping off fake ballots and they're taking pictures of them doing it. Why might they be taking pictures of them putting ballots into the ballot box?
Here you go, Mr. Biden.
It's because they're record keeping it for the organizations that they work for. Their organization requires them to do it.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Listen, man, your president was incredibly unpopular, still is. I don't know why you guys haven't learned this, because maybe you could take it and make him a better candidate so you won't lose in November, but he's never broke 42% approval rating. He has cost you guys 7 elections in a row, and you continue to say he's just going to win in November. I'm sure you believe that, but why are you so... I'm not even that confident that Biden's going to win, and all the math is on my side.
People are figuring out what's really happening.
Are we having the same conversation?
People are going to vote for Trump.
Hold on, Jaden, who is talking to this guy? Because it ain't me.
I legit don't think he's listening.
Well, you're saying Trump's not going to win in 24. I'm going to say why.
Was that the conversation we were on?
Well, apparently for you, he's not going to win in 2024 because the election is rigged, right? So why are you showing up to vote?
Well, that's a good point.
Well, let's see him say that.
But I think they're going to come out in droves to vote for Trump in 2024 because he's against all the things that Biden is
with
for.
40% approval rating.
Why do you want an open border? Why do you want climate?
He's against capping insulin.
Climate change.
Why do we want climate change? What?
Against climate change. Why would anybody want to throw their money?
Are you talking about?
That's one of the positions that he's going to win on.
He's going to be anti-climate change.
And the border.
He's going to win on climate change despite the fact that most Americans believe. Hold on a second. He's going to win on climate change despite the fact that most Americans believe climate change is real.
I don't think most Americans do.
Okay, well, we'll just Google it for you.
Most people watch TV for it, but the people that are educated are not.
A line chart shows that 54% of Americans view climate change as a major threat.
Okay, well, you can read whatever you want. You got to check your source.
Okay.
This is Pew Research. This is Pew Research. This is Pew Research.
They own everything. Okay.
This is Pew Research.
Pew Research.
Pew.
Mm-hmm.
Pew Research.
Pew
Research is one of the best pollsters in the nation, up there with Gallup.
Yeah. One thing we have to be very aware of is there's a lot of deception going on.
From you, yes. Can you tell me one piece of evidence that 2020 was stolen?
Well, there's, for one thing, they were blocking out the polls. They were putting pieces of cardboard up over the windows so people couldn't see them. They were pushing away the Republicans so they couldn't view them auditing
Okay.
the ballots.
Cool.
There was a lot of weird.
Okay, so what you're talking about, I don't remember if that was in Pennsylvania. I think it was in Pennsylvania. It happened. It did happen for this. So hold on a second. Hold on. It happened in Pennsylvania, which was the one that the video got played for. They would not let Republicans in because there were already enough Republicans in there observing. The reason that they were not let in was because when Donald Trump started losing, or when it started shifting, and they started seeing the numbers come back more in favor of Joe Biden because of the split for mail-in, right? So mail-in voters are more likely to be Democrat because Republicans targeted that. They did not want people voting through mail because it would hurt Democrats. Except for in Florida, where Donald Trump told people to vote by mail. Funny story. And then voted by mail there. But the reason that they weren't let in was because when they started to lose, Republicans sent observers from locations that had already got finished to other locations to try and up the vote. Started a whole ass riot in Detroit.
It's like people voted, and then at like 3 a.m, when all these mail-in ballots started coming in,
it wasn't 3 a.m.
Everybody thought Trump was going to win, and then all of a sudden at like 3 a.m, all the battleground states got all these mail-in ballots.
No, they didn't. I knew they weren't. I knew they weren't.
Okay? I watched it on TV.
I knew they weren't. I'll read it. Hold on a second.
Trump was never ahead.
Yes, he was. Battleground states, 3 a.m, boom, done. Mail-in ballots, all for Biden, or the majority, and the election was over.
1 second.
Yeah, that's what happens when you count.
Well, that's what happens when you cheat. Mail-in ballots are not required signature verification.
So I don't have it anymore, but Max Littman, hold on a second.
You can print
Max
as
Littman,
many
who was on here. Hold on a second. Hold on. No, you can't. No, you can't. Stop talking.
Yes,
Stop.
you can.
No, you cannot. That's not how it works. So I talked with him that night. He said, no, I think they have it. I think the Democrats have it. I was saying that Donald Trump was not going to win because of mail-in ballots, because you have what's called a red mirage. Republicans tend to vote in person. Okay. 75% of Republicans wanted to vote in person as opposed to 75% of Democrats that wanted to vote by mail. So you have, hold on a second. So you have what's called a red mirage. You have those in-person votes come in. Okay. So for instance, in Georgia, there's 159 counties. 11 counties hold half of the entire state's population, okay? Which means that 148 counties or so handle the other half, meaning you have way more people counting, it's more spread out, it's less clustered, whatever. And that's why you see at the beginning of pretty much every election, it go very red. But when you look at those red areas, they'll be like 90, 100% done counting. Right?
How did every single state?
So hold on a second, please listen. They didn't stop at the same time. Please, they didn't stop at the same time. Please, I was awake. I was awake.
I was too.
I'm sure you were. I was awake. I know what happened. You have a situation where 11 counties got slammed with significantly more mail-in ballots than they ever have been before.
Coincidentally,
some states allowed early counting. Please listen, man. Please. No, they weren't all battleground states. There was California, New York. No, they weren't. They were just the ones you were paying attention to. Every state had this. New York was the last state to finish counting in the country, as was California, one of the last states, as was Washington, as was Oregon, right?
Imagine that.
Listen, they weren't done counting. They had projected winners because we can see where's the ballot outstanding, how much is left. In Georgia, though, and in all of these other states, you have a ton of mail-in ballots come in from Democrats, and so they have to go through and count those. I stated that it wasn't over. Even though when I went live on election night, Republicans and Democrats were both like, oh yeah, we lost. You guys lost. We lost. I was like, no, we didn't. I was online. No, we didn't.
We went to bed at 3 a.m, and all of a sudden Biden won.
Yes, because the ballots outstanding. So for instance, okay,
mail-in ballots.
That night when the Republicans stopped counting, okay, when the Republicans stopped counting in Pennsylvania, they were up by about 900,000 votes. There was 1.5 million outstanding, and the breakdown of that was 80% Democrat. It was between 75 and 90% Democrat, which means that if you have 1 million votes, if you have 1.5 million votes, it means that approximately 1.2 million of those are going to be Democrats. And those are the ballots outstanding, but they have to count them.
Well, there were reports about trucks showing up really late at night with all votes for Biden.
No, there wasn't.
No, there weren't.
And there's no way for you to know that they were all Biden votes. I mean, couldn't I just say like what happened in Rio Grande Valley? So couldn't I say that if we're talking like there's not even, you guys don't even have anomalies, right? There were anomalies that benefited Donald Trump, but nobody's sitting here going, well, he committed fraud there. No, he didn't. There are anomalies that favored him. You guys don't even have the anomalies that favor Biden. Every single poll leading up to the election said he was going to win. And then he won by the amount it said he was going to win by. There was no polling data leading up to it that benefited Donald Trump. All of it said that these states were going to go for Joe Biden. There was just hundreds of thousands or sometimes millions of ballots outstanding. Jaden, if you want to take it first, I'm going to see if I can pull up a video from that night, but it's going to take a second. It's going to take a lot of fucking scrolling.
There's a lot of videos of people at these election places that were cheating. There's video.
No, it wasn't. I broke them all down, man.
Okay, well, we can agree to disagree.
It's not an agree to disagree. But we can talk about one in the last election, 2022, in which, Wisconsin, Milwaukee Election Commission found that there was voter fraud being committed by a public officer, Kimberly Zapata, but she was a Republican. So there's your voter fraud.
Well,
I'm almost
not all
there.
Republicans
Second.
are Republicans.
Seems as though every case we find seems to be from Republicans.
Like McCain, the one that faked the G6 insurrection.
He was dead.
What?
By 3 years.
No, his daughter. What's her name?
Oh, yeah, she set it up. Yeah, totally. That patriot. Yeah, I can't believe it's just wild to me. This you guys just think of is fucking, ugh.
Yeah, the minority person for the Republicans was actually a rhino in the J6 committee.
Who?
McCain.
Meghan
I know,
McCain
everybody's
isn't
a rhino.
congressperson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meghan McCain's not in Congress.
She was part of the J6 committee. What are you talking about?
No, she's not.
All right.
Everyone is in a panic.
This is
a big
panic.
All right, stop talking for a second. This is on that night right after when everybody's like, oh, we won.
Everyone is in a panic. I told you guys tonight could be crazy. I told you. Biden took a lead pretty early on, right? And Trump pressed the gas and caught back up. So what are the numbers showing? Go look at the suburbs of Georgia. Go look at the suburbs of Philadelphia. Go look at the suburbs of Akron, Ohio, and Columbus, Ohio. There are millions of votes out in those areas that have not been counted for. Trump counties are almost all at 100% accounted for. I'm talking about Biden counties with plus 70% of the vote, right? That are going to have hundreds of thousands of plus Democrat ballots. And it's happening in every state. It's clear they have a backup of Democratic ballots. When you see these ballots come in these counties, okay, they're not going to come at 10,000 Democratic ballots. They're going to come at hundreds of thousands of Democratic ballots. It's simple. Now we count.
Was I right? Yeah, he left. But what do you do? I called it that night. Like I was sitting on there going like, you guys, what are you doing? You have Atlanta Metro that has, 2.5 million ballots out, 2 million ballots out. Ohio did look catchable, but I think I misjudged that one. I was skeptical about Ohio, but I was hopeful. But Ohio is a difficult state to win. But anyways, whole point is, no, nobody's been able to provide anything in terms of fraud. It's just something that they say, right? It's a conspiracy that they don't have any proof to. There's no theory. There's no nothing.
It'll come out.
One of these, he's going to be president again.
Just you wait.